Okay, so it's been a minute since I've done a video. There's a lot going on in my life right now. There is a lot going on in my life right now. It's absolutely maddening. This Nepal venture, it's crazy. It's led me down roads that I didn't think I'd ever find myself going down. Sorry, I was just eating chips. Anyway, living in the tent is getting hard. At first it was fine, it's like camping. The crickets are nice. But I'm not sleeping very well. The hard ground is getting difficult to deal with, especially during the day, because I don't sleep well. And then this is as of last night was the first night that I realized that I'm not getting the sleep that I should or could be getting. That's a friend of mine. No names needed. I'm sure you heard my phone go off. Sitting in the break room. It's where I spend every waking moment that I'm not asleep or not at work. I'm here working on Nepal. Would you calm down a minute, please? Anyway, I wanted to touch on what we're discussing right now, actually. He and I. And I'm not going to give any names, so I hope he doesn't get offended by me bringing this up. But he's concerned. He has a concern. Because he moved into a home that's owned by someone that's a really good friend of his. But this really good friend is not... He does not have the same standards as my friend. My friend's standards are... I'm envious of, a little bit envious of the standards that he keeps, that he manages to willpower through for years now. I'm very proud of him. Very proud of him. I've watched him grow. I've known him for a long time. A very long time. And I watched him grow. But the house that he lives in is full of people who are not living a righteous life. It's a very dark place to be. I've been there. I've lived in houses like that. And I'm covered in tattoos, you know, I've got a piercing, I've got a sailor mouth from hell, but let me tell you. Wow, this is embarrassing. Just sitting in the break room doing this. My connection that I try and keep. Then the connection that I try and keep with God. I try and keep very strong. And I try really hard to stay diligent. And it doesn't always work. You know, it's not perfect. My friend's not perfect either, but he is pretty damn close. And when people try and be close to God, and they try to live a life that God would want them to live, and they're living around people who are not, usually what happens is those people are difficult to live with. Because they're living in a darkness that is very different than your light. And they have pushed away the light for the sake of instant gratification. And they know that. They know that, and there's a sense of guilt that goes along with that. So when they're around people who are trying, that person that's trying can feel very uncomfortable around the ones who are not. Because they've allowed things near them that they have no business allowing near them. They've allowed things into their home that they shouldn't have allowed into their home. And these things are usually very offended by the light. Without even realizing it, the people who have let them in are offended as well. Because they have decided, and they've made a decision to join a crowd. And because the crowd is offended by the light, and that crowd is bringing them instant gratification that they're enjoying and they don't want to let go of. It's very easy to get offended by someone who's trying. Don't ever worry about it. Don't ever worry about it. Especially if you are living in the den, like my friend is. I've lived in the den. I lived in the den for 13 years. I know the darkness, and I know it well. I know the demons that bring instant gratification. I know them well. Because I was usually the one bringing the light that pissed them the fuck off. The thing is that if you keep worrying about how much you're going to offend somebody by your light, there's only one thing left that can happen. If you hide it under a bushel, there is only one thing that can happen. You're going to lose yourself in their darkness. You can't afford to do that. You can't afford to do that over hurt feelings, because the feelings that are being hurt are brought on by darkness. If they would learn to let go of the darkness and bring in the light, what is there to be offended by? It's not your fault that your light stings their eyes, because they've played in a dark room for so long. Don't stop doing what you're doing. You need the protection, and you need to shield yourself. Always shield yourself. And never, ever hide that light under a bushel. Because like I said, there's only one thing that can happen if you do. It's too easy to fall into the darkness. It's a lot of work to keep that candle lit. But the brighter you keep that candle lit, the more you're going to be able to see through the darkness. I love you. Always and forever.